Hi there, Lowell Onwards to the province. A video edition of the fifth quarter from BC Place Stadium on Thursday afternoon. The Lions just about set on Friday to face the Saskatchewan Roughriders in what will be what really is a 4 or 5 point game. If you really want to think about it, the Lions looking to try and get a season series tiebreaker against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. If they win on Friday, they have the season series in what effectively would be a 5 point lead. Story on Thursday, of course, the arrival of Geroy Simon, as you would expect. Actually, it was kind of funny because he came here on the team bus with a dog. I think it was his, I guess it was his dog. I don't know if it was the dog he'd left behind in Cloverdale in Surrey, or whether he brought it on the team bus, but nonetheless it was there, and he did his obligatory rounds and talked about how he was looking forward to playing against his former teams in this setting. Of course, having met the Lions only 2 weeks ago, the luster is off, and I think a lot of that edge is off. But it doesn't it does sort of add to the sort of story narrative. Riders are making a number of changes, but so too are the BC Lions, and I think this is going to be a really, really difficult game for the Lions as a result. Doesn't look as if Courtney Taylor will play. Marco Iannuzzi is on the roster, but it's anticipated that he will be scratched. He did not practice through the bulk of the week, although Mike Benevides said yesterday that he thought he was okay. So that's the old game time decision. I'm not 100% sure that if you look at their depth chart, there's any other way but to scratch Marco Iannuzzi when you look at the Canadian ratio. So that's a real concern for a Lions receiving corps that probably could use Geroy Simon on this night, but we all know. And if you don't, we'll have a story in the paper about it on Friday about why it is it just never did work out for Geroy Simon, if you think back to some of his more recent play for the Riders. Anyways, not too much to report to. Those are the basic lineup changes. Thomas DeMarco makes his first start at home for the Lions, and that certainly figures to be an interesting part of this game as well. But I think the game is the Lions defense and Corey Sheets. That's certainly the matchup. Sheets back in the lineup for Saskatchewan after missing a couple of 3 games with a bruised knee, and he makes the Riders so two-dimensional as opposed to the one-dimensional passing attack that they've sort of had in the recent past. Be sure to pick up a copy of the paper on Friday. Ed Willis has a nice piece. Angus Reid has a piece that you definitely have to check out. He talks about a team meal that the Lions had. Not surprising Angus would write about something with connection with food, but it really does give you a sense of how together this team is with the meal that they had last night, Wednesday night in Surrey. It is really quite an interesting read. Lots in the paper on Friday, lots online too through the weekend after the game as well. Lowell Onwards for the fifth quarter.